Star Wars Bloodline is set between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens and peels back the curtain on the politics and growing dangers of that time period. If you haven't read it and you plan on reading it, I would skip this video altogether. The book is worth a read. If you're looking for more information about that specific time period between 6 and 7, read Bloodline. Spoilers ahead. Bloodline kind of reads like a political thriller with a layer of Star Wars smeared on top. Relationships form, blossom, and come crashing down. There's betrayal, political posturing, backstabbing, ruthlessness, redemption. When I picked up Bloodline, I had no idea what to expect. I just knew Leia was on the cover and that it took place after Return of the Jedi. And as of right now, it's become my favorite Star Wars novel. The New Republic rose after the Galactic Empire, but the government is at a standstill. A stagnant two-party system full of infighting has turned the Senate tribal with no middle ground to be found. The analogy to real-world politics isn't subtle, but this is Star Wars. It's never been subtle in Star Wars. We had the Vietnam War, we had Nixon, we had Newt Gingrich, we had Bush speeches in Revenge of the Sith. Look it up sometime. It's never been subtle. And in Bloodline, it somehow makes the narrative even that much more intriguing because it feels authentic. Claudia Gray does a fantastic job playing both sides. The two political parties in this story, the centrists and the populists, are on an equal playing field. Gray doesn't demonize either party any more than the other. Obviously, we see the story through Leia's eyes, but even Leia recognizes the failings of her own faction. Blame for stagnation and inaction is passed equally in the narrative's eyes. Terrorist acts raise suspicions of all. It's really great storytelling and really great politics on both a macro and micro level. Senator Castorfo is a great character. He's someone who admires the past, admires history, hates Vader, hates the Emperor, but appreciates some of the Galactic Empire's structure and is not afraid to say so. Castorfo, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I've only read it in a book, right, is not a cookie cutter character. I was expecting bad guy who loves the Empire and wants to bring back the Empire, but no, that's not it at all. Castorfo is layered. It would be very easy to demonize him. He collects Imperial antiques after all, but Leia judged before speaking to him. Claudia Gray does a great job showing us that sometimes the invisible walls we have around us are constructed out of balsa wood. And if you just took the time to talk to those perceived enemies, that defensive balsa wood wall would come tumbling down. I loved the dynamic between Castorfo and Leia. In the beginning, they both had their guards up, but a friendship blossomed, which makes the events that transpire in the end that much more tragic, and I loved the closing of the book. I thought it was a great little cap on everything that happened. Sometimes things don't end up all rosy and perfect. The hero of this story is compromise. The hero of this story is finding common ground, and that message, that moral, that mindset is what makes the heroes of this story heroes in the first place. In a sea of stagnation, there's a common goal. Bloodline does not have a heroic or triumphant ending. It's not really a heroic or triumphant book. It's bittersweet, but it's a great read if you're looking for a little bit of context and exposition between 6 and 7. The rise of the First Order, paramilitary organizations, crime syndicates, loyalty, and a whole lot more. There's a point in the novel where the galaxy discovers Leia's biggest secret, and when that moment happened, I could not put the book down. I was on a long flight when I read that part, and when I got to that part, I finished the rest of the book before the flight was over. So good. Like I said, I could not put it down. The only thing I found myself not liking in this entire novel was a part near the end when Leia confronts Renriven D, and again, I don't know how it's pronounced, but she basically single-handedly kills an entire army and air wing because of poor engineering and a faulty bolt, I guess? She shot a bolt from what I remember and it just destroyed everything. Anyway, it felt like a really quick wrap up, and that was my only complaint in this entire book. Other than that, this was a great read. Great characters, great mystery, great reveals, and a great bridge between films, filling in gaps and giving context. This is actually my first Claudia Gray novel, and I really need to read Lost Stars and everything else she's put out. If you have not read Bloodline yet, well, if you haven't read it yet, why are you watching this video? Go read it. HelloGreedo, out.